Hi everybody, Jen here. So today is 50 days since I have been officially installed as AVMA President-Elect for 2025 to 26. What I've really learned and thought about already in these last 50 days is how vast this profession is and yet how small and interconnected we all are. So my first trip post-convention was off to Sacramento for the Theriogenology Conference. And this is a really interesting and inspiring conference where I could see the really practical side of the work that some folks do and the really amazing research side of some of the work that's happening there, and all of it on behalf of the profession. Really, really cool, and I certainly learned some things that I did not know. I next was off to Louisville, which is a pretty short trip for me. It's just a car ride. And I was able to join AVMA CEO Dr. Donlin and AVMA staff member Dr. Jim Wiseman. And we spoke in a panel discussion with the AVTE, which is the Association of Veterinary Technician Educators. And so, as you know, AVMA is really focused on our credentialed veterinary technicians and thinking about how they can be better utilized in the workforce and in other sectors. And so this was a really great opportunity to talk to the folks that are educating those future credentialed technicians. And so after that, I was off to a conference in North Dakota, and I went to a small town called Medora, North Dakota. And if you're not aware, and I was not prior to this conference, this is a pretty small little town. I think the entire population is less than 200 people, but it is a big place for tourist attraction. It's right outside of the Theodore Roosevelt National Park. So I was able to see the park and appreciate some of the beautiful, sort of surroundings around that area in the country. And despite there being a bit of a flight delay for me on the way home, I actually took it as an opportunity to take a personal moment and have a trip to go see my paternal grandfather's burial site. And so this is not something I get to do that often, but it was a moment for me to be able to reflect in a place where it could have been very frustrating and thinking about, oh, okay, I'm stuck and all those things. But instead it was, okay, how do I make this a silver lining and what do I do and learn from it? So for me, that was a really wonderful reminder about gratitude and perspective. The next trip that I went on behalf of the association was down to Mexico. And so in Mexico City, I participated in some meetings with the Fed MVZ, which is kind of the Mexican counterpart to the AVMA. And they invited me to give a presentation and to talk about some of the topics that are of importance for us, including things like screwworm and avian influenza, right? There are a lot of things that we need to be thinking about from both sides of the border. I did a little bit of tourist time at Teotihuacan, went to an anthropology museum, and was fortunate enough to go and participate in the Day of the Veterinarian, which is a really cool event. If you've not looked this up, look it up. You'll be fascinated to learn some of the things that I did. I was home and then quickly turned around and was off to Puerto Rico for Puerto Rico's annual conference. And despite, at least from my perspective, this being a little bit more hot and humid than I would have preferred, it was beautiful listening to the sounds of the geckos and the frogs and all the things. Really takes me as what I think is a sort of a basal level herpetologist to a really happy place to be able to do that. I might have wanted to abscond with a lizard or two. I did not, but I'd thought about it. And there was a 60s theme party, and that was really cool to participate in and bring some kind of wild outfits that I probably wouldn't wear on my regular day-to-day, but it was fun to participate and to see everybody just cut loose and have a little bit of fun. Most recently, our AVMA Board of Directors just had our board retreat, and so this is an opportunity for us, yes, to have a board meeting and to get some of the business of the association done, but really it's meant as more of a time for us to bond with the new board members, get to know one another, and sort of set the stage for us working together over this next year. And so we learned about a different sector of veterinary medicine. We did a 2-day deep dive into aquaculture and specifically learning about shellfish. And then we also learned about zoological medicine. So for me, those are both sectors of the profession that I don't participate in on the day-to-day, but really wonderful to have that perspective and to know about these volunteers and the folks that we have that are participating in those sectors of the profession, again, within this vast and diverse profession that we have. I think Throughout all of this, I as an individual still maintain the opportunity to continue working. So I do clinical practice in a relief capacity, and then I work remotely with a team based in Texas that's a technology startup. And so I've still been able to make, work happen. So for those of you that are thinking about, is this a role I could ever do? I would encourage you to think about. I'm happy to talk about what this has been like for me. But I think really these first 50 days, if I were to try to encapsulate it into one thing, is it's really about connection. And for those of you that followed my campaign journey, that was really important for me, and it still is important to me on the whole, but also as a human and as an individual, that's really important. And so I think listening, learning, and celebrating what everybody does in their own unique way in this profession has been a really awesome thing to do, and I hope to continue to carry forward. So as I'm looking ahead to this next 50 days and beyond, I hope that you'll follow me on a little bit of this journey. I hope to continue to share a little bit of what's happening behind the badge, if you will. And I want us to sort of walk forward together. I want us to learn together. And I want us to be consistently collaborative with one another. So if you have feedback, please don't hesitate to send it my way. And looking forward to this next 50 days, because the first 50 have been pretty wonderful.